travel to the past, not to the future. Peep into the past of the Dubai Toastmasters. They're celebrating 500 meeting, amazing milestone. And I would like to dedicate this little talk to all the on whose shoulders we stand today. And some of them are present here, Mohammed Murad, Balaji, also he is past member of the Dubai chapter, Ramesh, and to all those who are not in this room, because without those early legends, we would not have been here today. For the guests, some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, you may not understand. So in case the people are laughing, you laugh along with them. Just join in. I'm going to try to make this a little bit of fun, so we all enjoy it. I'll try to touch upon the history of the club a little bit, but also the geography, the chemistry, the biology, and the mathematics of the Dubai chapter. So let's start with the history. It was around 95, end of 95, 96 that Dubai Toastmasters got formed. It's the first club in Dubai. There was one in Abu Dhabi. And a Toastmaster by the name of P.V. Ramanathan. He was the charter president of the first club. And a very tall guy, very, very tall guy. And he was the first president. And around 96, the club was chartered. And that's around early 96 was the time I got involved in the Dubai chapter in a very peculiar manner. I was sitting at the doctor's clinic, waiting for my turn. I had nothing better to do, so I just looked at the magazine lying there. I picked it up. It was a bit dirty. I thought it would be infected. I thought I should drop it back, but then something told me, read on. And I'm really glad that I took that risk. And I read on, and somewhere at the bottom, probably a 1 square inch column was there which said something about Dubai Toastmasters. And there was a landline number given of a gentleman called William Sampson. So I made a note, finished the doctor's appointment. The next morning I rang up William Sampson, and he gave me a very big lecture on Toastmasters for 45 minutes. I really had to keep the phone. So I told him, this is my fax number, can you just fax me a sheet of more information? He sent me 5 sheets. And then he rang up to check if I've got all 5. Is there anything more? He said, no, that's it. Would you like to know anything more? I said, no, I think I have enough information. He said, would you like to come for the next meeting? I said, yeah, I would like to do that. And I always regretted saying yes, because he called me that evening again to tell me, like, don't forget, make a note in your diary. I said, yeah, I made a note. I will be coming. And the day before the meeting, he rang me up again to check, you remember you're coming for the meeting tomorrow? I said, yeah. And this is the location, Al-Futan Training Center. I said, yes. Would you like me to pick you up? I said, no, I'll manage. The next morning, the morning of the meeting, he rang me up again to say, are you sure you don't want to be picked up? I said, yeah, I'll land up. I know this rough area, I'll find it. I'll leave early. I'll see you there. He said, where do you stay? I said, in Dubai. He said, we are pretty close, I can pick you up. He said, I'm in Ajman. Those days, of course, Ajman and Dubai were I started worrying at that point, where have I landed myself? But I came to the first meeting of the Dubai chapter, exactly this very room, I'm proud to say, and William sat next to me as if I'm going to run out. I went through the whole meeting. I enjoyed it. I liked the group of 20 which were there. I mean, they all seemed much more intellectual than me. And I was worried about that, but I signed up. As I said, the president, very tall guy, Ram, but what I liked about him, he used to look at little things. And a simple thing I'll tell you, I was fairly new, I was very nervous, I was very scared to be called up to speak. He used to give the president address, and one of the president opening address, he suddenly mentioned my name, and I almost fell off the chair. I was worried, what did I do wrong? So he made me stand up, and he asked everyone to applaud for me. I was wondering, what did I do? He said, this guy, a new member, came in early today, and he saw that the Toastmaster of the day was distributing the agendas. He volunteered and helped him to distribute, and for that he needs to be applauded. So I learned a tremendous lesson that day from a very tall leader, that you need to look at little things as the president of the club, which I followed when I became the president. I should really look at the little things and then give credit to those people who did those small things. So that's the culture of Dubai chapter from how we started. Very tall guy looking at little things. So I think that's enough for the history for now. Let's go on to the geography. Okay. As I said, we started here, but actually we started from the residence of Ramanathan and his wife Malika. I think a couple of meetings. And then they shifted here to have a formal room. And after some time of meeting in this beautiful hall, Al-Futtaim Training Center for some period wanted this venue back for their own staff training. So they asked us very politely that we can't really have you anymore over here. So we had, like nomads, we had to go around looking for a hall. And you remember, there was only one chapter at that time. So we moved from here to the airport hotel. And nice hall. It was exactly next to the reception of the hotel in the lobby. And the good thing about that was for for the members who traveled frequently, it was close to the airport. They would bring the luggage, bring the trolley bag, park it behind the room, and then finish their meeting, and then go to the airport, catch the flight. And vice versa. They would land at Dubai airport, come into the meeting room with their luggage, and then go home. So it acted as a transit lounge, you would say. So that was the airport hotel. We also had, the VP membership had a good time because he had a lot of guests. A lot of guests came in because the guests of the hotel sitting in the lobby would just, loiter in and enter the meeting room, thinking it's part of the tour package. They would sit down in the Toastmasters meeting, and when they were asked to pay the guest fees, they said, we thought this is part of the package. So the VP membership had an exciting time. But the airport hotel at one point realized that if they would continue supporting a Toastmasters non-profit organization with lower charges, they themselves would become non-profit. They very politely told us, if you can go somewhere else or double the charge. So we had to again find another venue. This time we went to the Capitol Hotel in Dubai. Very, beautiful hall. I can never forget that room if it's still there. I can describe it to you simply and try to imagine it. All the four walls had mirrors on them. The ceiling had mirrors, and the floor also had mirrors. Imagine, and they had huge chandeliers. So there was huge light reflection in that hall. And as a speaker, if you were standing and speaking, just imagine if you were nervous and looking down. If you try to look for words, try to search here and there looking at yourself, that's very scary. So that all forced us to look at the audience. And the eye contact became really great. We just couldn't look anywhere else. And those members who graduated from that venue, I'm sure their eye contact is superb. But the phobia of mirrors must also be very good. That was the Capitol Hotel. It had a lot of restaurants and area to enjoy nightlife in Capitol. And it caused a bit of a problem because some of the speakers, when they got very tough evaluation from the evaluators or they were in some kind of a bad mood, they got disqualified, they would go have a nice time and then sort of stumble back home. So that was, we decided let's move from Capitol Hotel. And they also actually told us we got to double the charges because we can't afford living. So from there we went to the Renaissance Hotel. Renaissance, we just hosted a DTAC over there, the first one. And so they supported it, said, welcome, this is the room for you. But the room they gave us was a bit peculiar. And we really struggled with it. I've drawn a diagram of the room just for you. Imagine, the speaker was speaking here. We had chairs all over here at this point. And when there was an overflow, the rest of the chairs. Now, if somebody came in late, he could only hear the speaker. And the guy sitting here had to really lean around the corner to check out the speaker. So this was the problem with the Renaissance venue. And the second problem was some of the members started asking for 50% refund. They said we can only hear the speaker. So we decided to move out of this venue. And from the Renaissance Hotel, we were still struggling. And somebody said, look at the Sultan Business Center next to Lamsi. But we had already received feedback that don't go there because it's next to Lamsi Plaza. You'll have a sergeant at arms going to have a problem because he has to go to Lamsi, take the bell, and call the members who are enjoying life, shopping and eating and all that. The meeting is starting. Please come to the next building. So we went against that. We looked at other options, but luckily for us, Al-Futtaim called us back. They said, listen, you can come back now. You're most welcome. We were puzzled why. Later on, I realized the reason they called us back. See, all the roads around here had got dug up. It was a lot of road works going on, completely surrounding. If anyone was told to come to Al-Futtaim Training Center in those days, they would have got lost, for sure. But Toastmasters, you're always welcome, because you can get lost. It doesn't matter. So we managed, and luckily we are still here and we find it meeting. So I'm sure Deepak must be having his own stresses when they ask him to move out from here. So that's the geography of the club, roughly, how we moved around. What can I take you through now? History is over, the geography is over. Let's look at the chemistry of the club. In chemistry, I'll say, the chemistry basically starts with the president and the VP education. All these years, the presidents we have had, right from Ramanathan, Nick Henderson, Mohammad Murad, Ramesh, myself, all of us have focused on one thing: have a good ex-com, but have the best VP education with you. It's good to put all the work on the VP education, and then you can relax. That's been the chemistry where the presidents have been highly successful because they've kept any VP education center. I'm sure you can relate to that. Yeah, you can relate to that. VP education does all the hard work. The president can relax and just come and give an opening and closing address, and things are done. At the end of that term, why does the VP education generally usually become the president? Because he needs a break. So that's the chemistry that's generally followed. And let's look at the biology. Biology is interesting. We've got two aspects of the biology. One is the president. I keep saying that he was a very tall guy. He's still a tall guy. Still around. We noticed a phenomena after a few years that the height of the president started to climb. We like to the point that we had, those of you know VP Menon, came down to VP Menon, and that's where we got really worried. So it started, the lectern started, there was a bigger lectern there. It became taller than the president. But fortunately, after that, there was a U-turn and things have stabilized. So that biological thing, we are a bit worried. The second biological problem, which I didn't say it's a problem, it's a good problem. We have a new member, that time he was new, now he's senior, Dr. Balan. He is a MBBS, MD, and a psychiatrist. I think that they need a psychiatrist. We have to reassure him that he's just a normal member. Why do you have a psychiatrist? Just relax. Other clubs in Dubai started wondering, and Dubai chapter has something up the sleeves. Why have they got a speech psychiatrist? Why have they got a psychiatrist counseling them on speech and leadership? I told them, no, he's just a member. Now they are worried. They said he's winning a lot of contests. Does he have any influence on the judges? So the biology is, in a sense, that's what's happening. And what's remaining is the mathematics of the club. The best way to describe it is that when we started, the maths was difficult, the finances were difficult. The VP membership had to really pull people into the hall and make sure that they stayed. But a time came when we had membership levels to such a great extent, maybe 60 members, and a waiting list of 6 months. And only one club in Dubai, there was a waiting list of 6 months. That was an amazing situation. And I'll tell you, there's a past president of Dubai, Royston Fernandez. He had to wait for 6 months for membership. And he went on later on to become the DTAC champion, division governor and all that, and he's now in Australia. So in order to meet that rush, we had to start splitting the club and sending out ambassadors to open up new chapters. To Sharjah, Balaji is standing here behind the camera. So he's the one who started the Star of Arabia. We had City of Gold, we had the Gardens, we had DIC, Emirates Toastmasters, Fujairah, Alain, Russell Khema, just went on and on. And a point came where the Dubai chapter was actually having an intake of 20 guests on one occasion. The entire 20 were told, you are going in the club. That's what actually happened. It was an amazing period of growth that we had. And at this point, I can just conclude by saying that on this fine-day meeting, I'm proud to be a Toastmaster. We have seen it all. My message to all of you is that the journey is much more enjoyable if you enjoy it, you laugh about it afterwards. Don't take it too seriously. Enjoy it also, but it's a gift that for yourself, for your family, for your friends, bring in more people, and enjoy the journey. That's the main message I can give you. With that, I'll pass you back.